It's a case that has stretched over 5 years now, and 15 lawyers moved one step closer to the courtroom today. Russell Tillis, accused of a grisly murder at what neighbors called a house of horrors, was found mentally competent to stand trial. On Your Side's Ann Schindler brings us this update from his virtual court hearing.
He's a man neighbors say once terrorized their Southside community. He's accused of killing and dismembering 30-year-old Joni Lynn Gunter, then burying her in his backyard. And he's been a disruptive and unpredictable defendant in court, but he's not mentally incompetent.
While the defendant may show some anger and resentment and hostility, he is not delusional.
Circuit Judge Mark Borello making that determination despite Tillis's own attorney's claims that he wasn't capable of acting appropriately or assisting in his own defense.
Defendant's issues appear rooted more in what the doctors describe as an antisocial personality disorder and not any active psychoses.
The 59-year-old is also charged with kidnapping with intent to terrorize and abuse of a dead body. He has pleaded not guilty. Ann Schindler, First Coast News, On Your Side.
And jury selection in the case is scheduled to begin on August 10th.